How you doing?
Yeah! Yeah! You about to get plugged, dude.
Why do I feel
He
like
never gets.
yeah,
Sorry.
well, why do I feel that we haven't
What?
done plugging in a while? I don't know. I get the feeling we haven't done plugging in a while.
I mean, we plugged Soup campaign last week, and it's over 75K right now. So, I mean, we did our job. We plugged that really plugged.
We plugged the F out of it.
Yeah. Come again. What does the F stand for?
Thoroughly, fully.
Okay, thank you.
Don't try to trick me into cussing, Ignacio.
No, I'm always learning, man. You know, I'm not a native English speaker.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you curse at home?
Of course. I'm a foul mouth motherfucker.
All right. Point taken. Point taken. I don't really. What's weird, I save it for when I'm mad or I really want to get the point across. But like even in front of my mom, I still haven't cursed. It's only been like a handful of times that I remember cursing in front of her. And I don't know what it is, but that's just the way I feel. I don't know.
I don't know what it is from me because I wasn't taught to curse. I mean, it's something I developed for myself. I still remember that the first time my mom heard me cuss in front of her, at her, like some nonchalantly, because we here in Argentina use a lot of curse words as a phrase improvement. So I was talking to her and I called her boluda. That's a word that we use pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
And she was horrified. Nowadays, she's used to it.
And it's weird because, for us Americans, hearing like Argentinians curse or anybody else foreign to us, it sounds sexy. You know what I mean? Like you could curse at me all day, and like even if you're telling me I'm a hijo de puta, I'm okay. Which is that's the worst, right? Like the worst to be called.
I mean, we have such a culture of cursing just because that hijo de puta, son of a bitch, basically. The army is going outside.
Let me know if you have to go. If you're being invaded, let me know.
We are invaded from within. We use curse words so much that we use curse words to flatter someone sometimes. When you do something like, I mean, you use it too, like, motherfucker, that was amazing. We use that hijo de puta like motherfucker.
Yeah, and I can see that. My son now, he's at the age, he's turning 11 later on in the month, and he's at that age where he knows all those words already. He doesn't say them, at least in front of me, but I'm trying to teach him. I was like, Elijah, you know that you can learn those words and you can really think you're cool using them, but honestly, those words should be reserved for when you really, really want to use them. You know what I mean? Like when they have weight to them. And I think if you use them too often, then you're losing the.
Yeah, but I know, but there was a pretty famous comic artist here, author, not artist, author, called Roberto Fontana Rosa. Oof. And he was how do you say? He was pro cursing, And he did a speech, I think, in the Royal Spanish Academy about bad words. And he used them practically every single one of them because he told them, and he says in his speech that they are not bad words. It's the intention. It's the meaning you put in the word. Because I mean, like we were talking before, I can tell you, hijo de puta, that was great. Or I can tell you, you are an hijo de puta. I hate you.
Yeah, with
And
the glare you're giving me right now, it hurts me more than the word.
oh, let me take out my glasses.
All right, so I'm seeing by the chat there are plenty of people who curse.
Oh,
Plenty of people that I want to curse. Well, not plenty. There's one in particular. And then one of those guys you just want to go, fuck, dude, I love you.
okay, let's use
That's one of those guys.
El Loco Louis.
That guy.
Oh, what did I do?
I'm finding that as much as I respect and love him, he's a very hard person to love because
No,
he's always on. You know what I mean? You can never say something where he's not listening and trying to, you know what I mean?
yeah, squeeze a joke out of it.
Yeah, or just
I don't know. I fell in love with him right away.
yeah. Well, it took me a little while, and I guess it's still a process for me. So, but that's what I feel. That's what I feel. I'm saying it off the bat, he's lying. He's lying. The tallest drink of water,
Marcus.
And
Remy Q, baby.
you know, it's just like for Remy, I can kind of like, and it's tough because he's you know he's a broad guy, he's a big muscular guy, so it's like you kind of want to nestle up, and, you know, kind of like I did on Takeable Penis that day.
You reminded me of that Friends episode in which Ross and Joey sleep together, take a nap together. they make it an ongoing thing.
Right, where there, you know, it doesn't matter where you sleep, toe to feet, you know, the middle always just lines up.
Yeah,
Miss So,
Mary,
the meme queen.
Dale.
Dale owes me some money because he just won CGC's giveaway of a slab where he tagged me. So,
That's how it works.
That's
Good.
how it works. You tagged
Good
me,
to know.
and then you know, Travis has got a good one today. He's got a very good question today. Where as soon as he's asked the question, I had to think about it. So,
What?
Exactly.
Beef, bro. Cotton-headed Nini Muggins.
Yep. That's probably worse than cunt here in the U.S.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah, I mean, it can be said.
Yeah, I know.
Brother of lime green shoes, how are you doing? I hope you got away with trimming that Cujo beast today without getting bit. The indestructible
Joe.
The indestructible.
Body slamming Buck and Joe.
Body slam, car slamming Poke and Joe. And just for you, Marcus.
Brother Joe.
Mexican Independence Day.
Not really. The Mexican Independence Day is another day, but in the Cinco de Mayo, what it's commemorated is the battle that the Mexicans won against the French army. I learned that doing a calendar about dragons having sex. You live, you learn.
Yeah, I can see that. I beef it. I hope someday that's my bucket list place to go to is New Zealand.
Is it too late or too early, Beefit?
Well, he's probably just getting to bed, that sounds like.
I don't know. Good night, mate.
Good night. Oh. No. Close. I have to work on that one.
Good night, mate.
They're close. They're similar. And I have the Australian one down, if you don't know. The New Zealand one, the Kiwi one. Is Kiwi a derogatory?
I think it is, but you know.
Sorry, I was raised in the 70s and 80s, and we didn't have.
I mean, besides that, we're among friends here, and we can. I mean, this is a safe space where we can talk about what we ignore. For example, if you ignore if that word is derogatory, you ask him, "Hey, is this word? Does this word offend you, or the people where you come from get offended by this word?" For example, there's a word that people use for South American people from, I mean, south the border, that I get to use because I'm from south the border. But if someone,
which border?
The Mexico border.
Okay.
I mean the border of the empire.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right. My proper view where I'm sitting. That's all.
So I can use it, but if someone said it to me, I wouldn't be offended.
No matter who said it to you, you wouldn't be offended?
No, I don't. Because I give the words power too, you know? It's like superstition. If I let a superstition affect me, it will affect me. If I let a word have power over me, then it has power over me. I choose not to give it power.
You are probably the most enlightened guy I have met in my life.
Oh, you should see me getting all emotional because of some stupid thing my wife says.
I was like, I should have more calendars with dragons having sex on them. Maybe I'll be enlightened too.
El dragón del amor.
I want to shout out to my little freaky little legend today. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, little legend.
Oh, happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños. I want to point out that Mark said that I'm south of a lot of borders and north of a couple. I really, Argentina is the last, the last country. I mean, the only border we have is with the Magellan
Strait
crossing. Yeah, what I don't know what you call it. Geography is a construct. And Antarctica.
Geography and time is all a construct. And that's coming from the master of offense, the offensive master.
I mean, you have to be ready to deal with offense if you are going to offend people. If you're going to make offensive comments or jokes in the sake of comedy, you have to take it. You have to be able to take it. So to fill a hole, you have to be willing to get your holes filled.
Right. Okay, so that's actually that's a pretty, and it's weird how it ties into things that are going on in the community right now. There's a hot button topic, a hot button YouTube content creator.
Oh.
I don't know if he's a content creator. Anyway, he's a seller who goes by the name of Peddlin' Pete.
Peddlin' Pete.
Peddlin' Pete. Okay, so for those who don't know, Peddlin' Pete goes on YouTube several nights a week, and he peddles his wares, so to speak. He has a very unique way of doing it, in that if you offend him in any way, he will call you a small dicked. I don't know, pretty much every expletive in the book. And he has his way. If he doesn't get a particular price he wants for a book, or something happens with it, he'll just tear it up in front of somebody. He'll tear it up in front of the whole stream and just be done with it. So with that being said, like you said, you can choose to give a guy like Peddlin' Pete power in his words and his ways.
Exactly.
There was one or two members of our community who he directed his piss and vinegar at, and they didn't take too kindly to it. Which, from some viewpoints, you can see. Some viewpoints say move on. Some people say, hey, that wasn't right. But, I mean, just like you said, I think it harkens back to just your sentiment, and like you choose what those words mean to you.
Yeah. One of the most important things that I learned during my process of healing from life problems, codependence, and addiction is that sometimes the only thing you need to do is ignore things and do not engage. That's pretty much it. Because if you don't feed the wolf dies.
Right. So, but I mean, the only person who benefits if you choose to is like Tyler says, the guy wasn't at 1,000 subs before, and he had a pretty big turnout for his last sale. And I mean, to me, it's funny. I mean, even if he directs it towards me, then fine, I can take it. I mean, no big deal. But I can see how some people will get offended.
I mean, one of the things we do in this part of the community, of the comic community that we are usually involved in, is, at least for our part, it's be ourselves. You know, we are, at least with the people I tend to talk to and relate more, we are pretty much backstage and in front of the camera. Well, we do everything in front of the camera, but in the backstage or in the lives, we're pretty much the same person. We don't have a backstage persona and a live stream persona. But there's a lot of people that have a persona because who knows? Maybe because they need to be protected. I mean, I have a persona in one of my artistic jobs because having my real name attached to those kind of works would be problematic for my career, for my mainstream career. So there's a persona I need for myself to protect myself, Brian. So I understand if this person choose a persona that is antagonistic or flamboyant or crazy or wacky. That I think that's a more appropriate wacky. Uh, maybe it's what works for them, you know?
Yeah, you know what? Too, I think this guy Peddling Pete is like that on and off camera. But to those people who don't know him, he may be abrasive, he may be an asshole. Yeah, but to those other people who know him, could swear by him. So, just one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, and we all have different kind of relationship with the different people we meet. We are all living personas. We have our ego, our shadow, and our public self, our persona. Yeah, I understand what you mean, Joe. I mean, I think I understand what you mean. So
you think that they're always three separate entities, though?
no, it's not. It's I love Jungian psychology.
Yeah, like ego and id and what's the
Yeah,
other?
yeah, and I use it as a base for my role-playing game system. So when you create a character, you have to choose an archetype for your ego, for your shadow, and for your persona. And those three aspects of yourself make the basic personality of your character, and a lot of other things. I think it's useful to define characters, and I think it's useful to understand people too.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are separate things. I think they're all it's like the divine trinity. You know, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit apparently are the same thing. All a whole being composed of three entities all in one. There you go. Joe knows more than I do because he's a scholar. I am not. I'm just self-taught.
Yeah, and I am not even smart enough to teach myself. So I will get quickly out of the conversation. This guy. But before I forget, let's get to Travis's question of the week.
Oh yes, please.
Hey everyone, Travis from TM Nerdy here, and you guys are watching Two Nerd Dads with Nick and Najo. I'm gonna hold you guys up for just 1 second, because I got a question for all you fine folks out there in the YouTube world. Have you forgotten anything today? Fill your holes with, what the hell was I doing?
I'm not even going to tell you. Anyway,
What?
as soon as Travis asked that question, I immediately wondered, did I forget something?
What did I do?
How would you know? How would you know?
I mean, I'm gonna be. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna tell an anecdote. Thanks, Mark. The University of the Streets.
See, I don't know what that word so I'm going to take that as a sign of disrespect.
Also, the didactic is that you teach yourself.
I know what it means, Iggy.
Don't play dumb, motherfucker.
I don't play it.
Someone got a haircut. That's true. I mean, he's another baldy like us. So one time, I lived in an apartment building. In the third floor, it didn't have an elevator, so it was all 3 flights of stairs. And I usually put my bike on the terrace, on the rooftop, basically. So each time I went out, I took my bike 3 flights of stairs down. When I came back, 3 flights of stairs up. I was 15. I was young. I was virile, whatever you say. You know what I mean. So one day I arrived, I opened the door, and next thing I know, I'm up with no recollection of going up the stairs. That's the only time I know I forget something, but I don't know what happened. That's the only experience like that I have. That I can say, oh shit, I forget going up the stairs because I did it, but I don't have a recollection of it.
I think you can do something so often that it becomes a mundane task enough where you just don't think about it. And you're not
That's my only explanation.
Okay.
But it happens only that time. It happened only that time. Your Dick Tracy phone is ringing. Oh
Yeah.
no! At 15, I didn't have neither drugs nor alcohol. I was a straight-laced dude up until I was of age, 18. At 18, I started smoking, drinking, and smoking.
Until he was 16. 15?
No,
what?
no.
16?
No, 18.
And on the opposite side of the spectrum, 16 were my heaviest drinking days.
No, really?
Well, it was, and this will tie into our topic today because it's more fun. It was more fun for me in chasing that which you think is unattainable. So, okay. So since we have the segment, we'll go for it.
Yeah.
FOMO, fear of missing out. It invades my life weekly. A lot more so since I've been back in comics around this time, because I'm always chasing the next big thing or the next thing that I want. And I remember Tyler saying this one time where we buy one thing and then we're automatically we look at it once, put it away, never to look at it again.
Yeah.
So how do you experience FOMO?
Well, I think FOMO manifests itself as we were all chasing that. A way out of jerking off.
Yeah.
It manifests itself like in many ways, For example, the thing you said about drinking at 16, heavy drinking at 16, you were chasing something. That was, in my opinion, my ignorant analysis of your life. Maybe it may be the fear of missing out of the experience of everyone doing it. Everyone was doing it, and you were fearful of missing out the experience of sharing that with your friends. That's my surface level analysis. For me, nowadays, is fear of missing out. It's not about content, or maybe it's I fear missing jobs or deadlines or experiences with my son.
That one hits me particularly heavy, especially this weekend. I'm on call, and I guess I'll give a little background to lead up to the story. Growing up, my father was never there. He was always out in his own interests, whether it's out with the next woman or out drinking with his buddies. But at functions that I had, baseball games, whatever, I never remember him at anything at all. So in becoming a dad, that was my one thing, that I didn't want to miss a single thing ever, no matter what. And in the 10 years and change, whenever my son's had something geographically close by, because there have been some instances where he's been away at his grandma's house or whatever, and I've been home. One time I missed something because of work, and I still regret it to this day. This weekend I'm on call, and it happens, he's got swim meets tomorrow and Saturday, and there was one thing that came up Friday, right in the middle of his swim meet where I wouldn't be able to go. And it's put me in a funk all week. I think in that case, FOMO is, I wouldn't say acceptable. I mean, it's always acceptable. I mean, you just have to realize that it's not realistic to be at everything always.
Yeah.
But it was able to work out where I don't have to do it tomorrow and I'm able to go, and it kind of relieved.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, the fact that you have been able to be at almost every single thing, because the time that you are not able to make it is the time that's going to be more noticeable, But you have been in all those other things. Oh, Remy wants to go deep, wants to feel a very deep hole.
I'm going to put it quickly. I mean, I'll be glad to have, we can maybe make this another future episode.
Yeah, the Dead Dad Club.
The Dead Dad Club. Okay, so my father was diagnosed with inoperable liver and pancreatic cancer when I was 23, 24, around then. And I remember him laying on his deathbed, looking at me and telling me that he was hard on me to make sure that I turned out on the straight and narrow. And I remember looking at him and not believing a word he said. So I learned what to do as a father by what he didn't do.
Yeah.
And I'll put this one final bow on it. My father lived to, and I won't be able to show it. My father lived to be 47 years, 5 months, and 29 days old. And the day I surpassed him is the day I got my last tattoo. That says
Okay.
47, 5, 30. And that one there says one better. And the thing about it is, those are both in my son's handwriting. So, no, never was, never wanted it to be. And I don't know, just one of those things. Just one of those things. So,
Yeah, some people are not meant to be parents, you know? They are just biological parents, but they are not actual parents. That's why in the past, the community took care of the kids because sometimes crazy people got kids.
and in past generations, that's what it was. It always was. What's the saying? It takes a
It
village.
takes a village.
It takes a village because fathers 2 generations ago were never home. Were never home.
Nope.
And I try to pass this on to guys like, Mark, when Mark has a rough week and he's been away from the kids a little bit more than usual. You kind of have to take that for a moment and use that to have a better experience further down.
Dude, and imagine if someone like you or like Mark go hard on yourselves because of how you failed at parenting. And I mean, Mark, for example, he's such a good dad,
Mhm.
but he even goes hard on himself because we want to be perfect, and that's not attainable. But we want,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's something the previous generations uh, aim towards.
Mm. I don't know. Too, it's like I think we're more in touch with our feelings nowadays, especially guys like you and I.
Yep.
Where I kind of thought I knew what love was until my son was born, and
Oh
then
yeah.
once he was born, like I
It's a
knew,
paradigm shift.
yeah, it's huge, huge. But yeah, you know what? It's different, and I think whatever's happened in the past happened in the past. It's how you treat now, from now, this point right here forward. All right. And you got to realize just because you want it doesn't mean the other person wants it. But that also doesn't mean that you give up. And I
Yeah,
think,
of course, man.
right. And
I
I think,
mean, one of speaking of dads and final deathbed conversations with dead daddies. Hey, Crazy Chaos. So one of the last conversations I had with my dad, he was metastasized with cancer, and he told me he felt like he failed us because he couldn't provide with more wealth to us to make us feel more economically safe in the world we live in. And of course, this was all bathed with tears. But I told him that that was not the point, and that was not what I wanted from him, and that he had become, because I didn't have a good relationship with with my father when I was growing up, but he had become my best friend. So he shouldn't be sorry because of the money, because I didn't give a fuck about it, because I got to have a great relationship with him. And that's the kind of conversations we get to have today because we're more in touch with our emotions. And I'm glad I got to have that conversation with my father. I got to have those kind of conversations today with my mom, and also I know that I will be able to have those conversations with my son in order to fix some kind of ancestral trauma, that comes from our generations past. I mean, absent parents, my dad was not exactly like your dad, because my both my parents were workaholics. So my dad was not there. So he was all the time working, and he came home, and the only thing that was important to him is that if I was being a good student, for example, I was getting good grades, and that was pretty much my relationship with him. He was basically an authority figure that it demanded me to be better constantly. Then when my parents split up, I distanced myself from him, and then a couple of years later, we got to rebuild our relationship into another paradigm. But my grandfather, his father, not to him, but to my oldest uncle, he wasn't there for 11 years. My grandfather left Italy in the verge of World War II in 1938, 39, and came to Argentina. He was a fisherman, and he spent 11 years gathering money to send to my grandma and his firstborn, that was a baby when he left. So my uncle grew up until he's 11, 12 years of age without a father. And he was a great grandpa, but I don't know if he was a great dad.
It's so weird how from one generation to the next, how much things change.
Oh yeah.
That with your grandfather, it was acceptable then, because I mean you had to go where the money was.
It was the only way.
And even if that mean hundreds of miles away, that's what they had to do. It's tough now because as dad, my son's going through his cool isolation phase. He doesn't want to be, I don't know. He doesn't want to. He's not interested in this. He's not interested in that. He only wants to do his thing. And I think I'm kind of in the same boat Mark is, because I think his teenage daughter, and if you remember when you were a teenager, that 15, 16, I was never even home. I mean, 16,
yeah.
I lived the whole summer by myself because I was out doing things. My parents were separated. I was staying with my father.
Yeah.
Even though he wouldn't be home for weeks. So
I mean, it's the way. We need to rebel. We need to separate ourselves from our parents, from our inner circle of a family, in order to create our own personality outside that nest, basically, to prove ourselves into the real world. It's all a delusion, because we are stupid teenagers at that time, but we have the delusion that, oh, we're cool, we're alone, we are lone wolves, we're edgelords. But that's how it starts, you start developing your own, or you start to coalesce into your own personality at that age. And your parents, the only thing they can hope is to have raised you well.
Yep. I don't know. It's like you can't make up for the past. You can only shape what you have right now and the future of it. So,
I mean, the only thing we can do is, okay, I fucked up. I know I fucked up. I'm going to tell you that I fucked up. I'm going to be accountable for my mistakes. I'm going to ask for forgiveness if if you take it, basically, if you forgive me, and then we're gonna go from there. That's what my dad did with me. I mean, up until that was a plug.
Yeah, you know what it is? I always give Scott a hard time. I like giving Scott a hard time, but he's one of those guys that I do respect and enjoy. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries. It's always good to get an interruption from Scott. I lost my train of thought. So,
you were saying that.
There you go. I forgot it.
you acknowledge your faults, and then you make up for it going forward.
I'm a wizard, Harry.
He is. Speaking of which, and I guess we'll get back to the FOMO. Today's a big day for us Marvel fans in the States because we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming out.
There you go.
And for me, for the most part, when a movie like this comes out, I'm there day one, show one, part one of two. So today, in a little under 5 hours, I'll be sitting my butt in the seat with my son because his mother's going to get her hair done. Be me and him right after school going to see this movie. And for me, I don't want to miss it because I'm like, I've been waiting for this for months. Let's go. And then I gotta get it now. I gotta do it now. So
who would have thought that at some point in our lives we would be eagerly expecting a Doctor Strange movie? I love Doctor Strange, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of crazy, But that's part of the fear of missing out. I don't have that kind of fear of missing out. I haven't had it for a while. And I think it made me feel better because when I had it, I was constantly searching for information, for trying to see, okay, did you lose me? Oh, come on.
No, for me,
I'm
used to, yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you and see you.
Okay. My phone went black, so I thought I was out.
Okay. Nope. We never lost sight of your beautiful face.
Oh, okay, I lost sight of you then. So gladly, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes it crawls back in. It wants to come, but I have learned to manage it because it's all part of the deal. You need to temper yourself.
Not I.
Relax.
Not me. When it comes to certain things, like I don't care. Like I'm always up on any movie that comes out. I always watch all the spoilers. I hear the rumors. I listen to that. It's just one of those things for me. It doesn't. The party can start now. Chop and drop. 13 years here. Check out Louis' previous picture.
Picture.
Thank you. Chop and drop. Full first appearance on Louis' show this past week.
Wow.
For me, some people don't want spoilers. They feel it ruins the experience. But me, I can hear about everything. I still see it, and I still get that same feeling. Like I think I have an idea of whatever's going to go on today, but for me, I'm still going to get my little Peter tingle, and whatever else happened today.
I mean, is there any way they can surprise us with anything they do with this? I mean, the only way they can surprise us is they fuck it up monumentally.
Moonlight. Excuse me, sorry.
There you go. But I have seen reviews because, don't get me wrong, I don't watch the movies or the series, but I watch spoiler reviews and reactions and whatever if it piques my interest. And I have heard people talk about Moon Knight in so different ways, such different sides of the spectrum that it's crazy,
Yeah, for me, I'm all about it. I'm all about No, I'm not gonna tingle. It's gonna tingle. I can't help it. I can't help it when it tingles. Certain things.
Did that ever happen to you that you suddenly, oh, there's a tingle and it was an inappropriate time or place or person? Is
As
it, oh,
yeah, as men and as boys, I think there's always been that time that you'll get called up to the chalkboard when you got a stiffy.
yeah.
I think even now, you'll. There's always a situation where you're expected to stand up or whatever, and there's always some wood. But I think we're good enough at angling or making some excuse to not bring attention to it. So,
Yeah. Or own it.
or you say, "Fuck it, here I am."
That's what I did when I was younger, and I took a really long bus ride from my house. I lived in the outsides of the city. My neighbors were horses, so I took a long bus ride to the city to do things. And sometimes you got a boner in the bus, and at first I suffered it, and then at some point, I don't know why, I said, "Well, fuck it, I'm just gonna go down. So I'm just gonna go, ring the bell, and get the fuck down, and that's it."
The best is when you got to stand up, pull the rope, because back then when we were on the bus, it was a rope to kind of call attention to your stop.
Yeah.
When you're 10 to 12 and you got to poke somebody in the face with it to ring the bell. I don't know. I think as older men too, that the chemical part of it is kind of out of the equation now, I think.
Yeah, it's all in the mind.
But there are a lot more perverted thoughts and sexual impetuses to kind of bring your stiffy about. How do we get on this conversation?
We were talking about Peter tingles and spoilers, and I asked about the tingles in inappropriate situations or from inappropriate people. And here we are, another tangent.
Speaking of inappropriate people,
Hey, Austin.
I feel like I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
I mean, he must be busy. Poor Lord. So do you really experience fear of missing out if you don't go to see to watch to the theater Doctor Strange? Do you get anxious? Oh no, the guys are gonna talk this Sunday on Mark's channel about Doctor Strange probably, and I'm not gonna be able to be part of the fun because I missed out on the movie?
No, because you know why? I know this is my personality. All right. And it actually ties again into this week. I'm the type, if I get something in my head that I want it, I need to get it. And I'm not satisfied with any other thing than that thing that I've thought about. This week, I've had in my head, I've wanted a certain type of food from this Italian place by me. All right. I take my son to swimming Mondays and Wednesdays. Monday, I dropped him off. I go sit down at this restaurant by myself. I order mozzarella sticks. I order chicken parmesan, and I get myself something to drink. When I finish this meal, it cost me $40.
Yeah.
Which kind of hurt. But we'll get to this in a second. It kind of hurt, but it filled the hole that I needed to have filled.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I take him to swim practice, and the same thing again happens. I want the same spaghetti. I want chicken parmesan. Knowing how much it costs, I went and did it again.
That's addiction.
But you know what? It's like my wife had made dinner, food waiting for me, but nothing else would satisfy what I had the craving for. Even if I had 15 pounds of chicken here, I still would have been craving that thing. So
that chicken.
Right. So I needed that. I need a hole to be filled once it's open.
Yeah.
For me also, I love the thrill of the hunt. So if I can find something nobody else can find, and I'll put an example with a big thing with the PlayStation 5s. When those things come out, like I'm on it day one to try and get them. And that's like my singular focus. I can care less about anything else but getting that thing. You know, so I'll be myopic in that. And I'll stay up at night thinking about what I got to do the next day or how I'm going to until it's done. I've got 3 of them in my house now. People have been trying for a year and a half. Can't get them. I've got 3. So that hurts my FOMO because my FOMO is tied into my desire to fill my hole and my thrill of finding something nobody else can find. So
yeah, I understand. But I have to exercise restraint in those situations because I have a no. Oh, come on.
We get it. No... We try to fit them in every now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. I wouldn't let my children. I wouldn't let my kids starve. I'd let my wife starve. My kid wouldn't starve.
Speaking about shitty dads.
I'll be a shitty husband. I got no problem with being a shitty husband.
I mean, once you have kids, you can allow yourself to be a shitty husband.
You always put the kids first.
Exactly.
No, I've got 1 for me, 1 for my son, 1 for my stepson. I don't.
No, Chris, you need to understand. Nick needs his 3 holes filled. He needs to be airtight. There you go.
Well,
filling holes joke. No, you choose. You choose which holes. I let it to your imagination. Sometimes it's better if you don't show it.
All right. So, in getting back to Remy, we have our future topic, and we have our future guests.
I was going to tell you, Remy, would you like to be our guest for that particular show? You wanted to vent with us about shitty dads?
We'll call it the Kleenex episode. And case in point, Tyler tasked me to find this fucking thing at Walmart. And literally, I must have walked because if I go for food's on one side here. And you see where thing is back there? That's the toy section in Walmart. So I had to walk all the way back and forth to look for this fucking thing for Tyler. And I would do that 3 or 4 times a week when I was there.
And that's what friends are for.
Now he'll tell me to look for this thing, and I'll be walking. I still every now and again I'll look for it just to see if I see it now. Now because it's.
Oh, speaking of seeing it, I just remembered that Travis had the comic book community awards T-shirt in his video, and that's a design I did for Brian.
Yep. And if you guys don't know, I don't have the link handy. The award nominations are now open. So go out there, vote for your favorite YouTuber in a whole bunch of different categories. Let your voice be heard.
Yes, bring the beef. The other day I saw live, Marcus was choosing best facial hair. And it was between, well, he didn't nominate himself. He could have.
Still too young in that category, I think. Maybe
I don't know.
Next year.
And Cole was there. Tylux the Mighty was there. And in the end, Rob was there. And if you go to the Instagram post, there was some beef.
Yeah, I mean, that's Marcus's choice. Can't fault it.
Mm-mm.
That's what he. That's
I
what he.
mean, if I were Marcus, I would have voted for myself because he has a really good mustache.
He
So,
does. He does. And I've seen it up close. I mean, like,
have you seen the little bits of food he saves there?
no, he did that. That thing is clean, Ignacio. That thing is,
Oh,
in your grandfather's parlance,
perfecto.
perfecto.
You have a pussy in your face. It's best pubic hair, not facial hair.
Oh. All right, let me just unclick that comment. Yeah, I guess it's just a weird best physical feature. I think should I don't know. I guess it's always a work in progress. I think it's improved on last year, and will continue to get better. So
I mean, it's all a popularity contest. So let's see who's more popular. Bring it on, fuckers.
see, you used an expletive, and I was not offended by it.
Very good.
Not offended by it. All right, Mr. Ignacio, we're almost at an hour.
Yes.
We've barely discussed FOMO, which is fine. I think
I mean,
when we started this thing, we were always like, all right, hey, let's start it and see where it goes. And I think we've continued with that today.
yes. We do that. We do that every time.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine with me. It's
pretty on
fine.
brand.
Listen, we always start. We always start when we start. When you get here, you get here.
I mean, and that's not true. Don't be a liar, Chris, please.
One other thing is I signed back into work. Give me a second.
What? Are you working now?
Something Ignacio doesn't know about, but I want to make a call out to the community.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be getting a care package together for my esteemed colleague. So if anybody has anything that they want to send me to send to Ignacio, please DM me.
Oh, thanks, man.
And we're going to see if we can fill the hole caused by international shipping.
That's a bitch.
So, giant size man thing. Shout out to Paul Dunn. Yeah. What are you looking forward to in the next week? What do you got going on that you want to talk about?
Well, it's probably soon, but maybe this week I can announce when my variant cover for By the Horns goes on sale. It's gonna be a Scout web store exclusive. I don't know what that means really, but that's what I've been told it's gonna be. Oh, salami mommy, yeah, thanks, Drac. And I'm waiting for the green light on a new project that it's gonna be right up my alley. Use panties, nice. Yours? Oh, you don't use underwear.
Jesus Christ. I love this community. I love them. Hey, Drac, if you're sending that package to me, if you can include some horse paste in there too, I'd really appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
I'm running low.
Yeah, try to save some for me.
Okay.
So I have a new project that two projects that came from an anthology I worked in. One is another anthology that's going to be heart-wrenching because it deals with families and displaced children during war. And it's going to be 4 heart-wrenching pages, as far as I can tell. And then apparently a 4-issue miniseries is about to be greenlit by a publisher, which is kind of amazing because last week it wasn't even on the table, and now here it is. So
I'm excited for all the Ignacio Daddy stuff. Me. I'll never have enough holes to fill with all the Ignacio Daddy stuff.
it's gonna be crazy to be able to give you things from this side of the world that you can see. I mean, you're gonna be able probably to see them before I do.
I hope not. I hope you get the first thing, but it's going to be amazing.
Dude,
it's going to be amazing. No matter what.
No, I mean, some people saw the Killer book. Most of the people saw the Killer book before I did, because it was like in customs for like a month or two. Chris, what you said right here, I don't think you guys could handle it. Because you're used to a stability that we here don't have. Like we never had. We kind of had it during a time, and it kind of depleted the National Reserve, so that kind of fucked everything up. So, you know, there's always that saying here that how can I translate it? We're crafty, you know, we're handy, we can make it work. Even if we can fix it with duct tape, we're gonna fix it.
You can make do with what you got.
Yeah, because we're used to dealing with a constantly crumbling economy. That's why sometimes we don't get your social issues here, because sometimes you have a certain type of social issues that here we don't get to experience in full, because we don't have the luxury to have the time to think about them.
Right. You don't have the spoiled entitlement also.
I didn't say it, you said it.
you wanted me to say it, so I said it.
I don't know, man. It's like the Greeks. The Greeks had it all figured out, so eventually they kind of invented philosophy and democracy, and because they had the time and the resources available to be able to think about things. Of course, the Greeks we know about, because I think there will be in history Greeks that had a crappy time, but that's the things that comfort give you. I mean, we had some amount of comfort, but you can never be too sure in this Argentinian economy. If tomorrow maybe the money you have in your account is gonna be worth the same. I remember one time, from one day to the other, the exchange rate changed in against me, and I lost a lot of money when I went to the bank and said, fuck, I should have do this transaction yesterday. Well, you live, you learn, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you just hope that you're young enough or you live long enough for it to swing the other way.
Yeah, basically.
So.
Well, we have China invading our country, so they're installing bases.
Yeah, see, I wish I paid enough attention to the geopolitical climate to even know what he's talking about, but again, I don't think I could either. Down there, over here.
I mean, you go to America, not North America, the whole American continent. Do you get me?
Canada.
Team America. Yeah, Alaska, Canada, blah, blah, blah. You go further down from Mexico, Panama, blah, blah, blah. There you go, past Brazil.
Brazil.
And past Brazil, It's Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia.
Uruguay. Paraguay.
Yeah, that's the one you get hung up on because, oh, this is the funny one. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I'm just glad I'm here.
I mean, we should all be glad we're here, even if our situation is crappy. I mean, Brazil is the big one. Exactly. It's probably the biggest one.
With the statue, Christ the Redeemer.
The Christ, exactly.
Where you want to go in February? Is it February where Carnival is?
Yeah, I wouldn't go there at that time. I went to Brazil once. I went to the Christ, but the best place I went in Brazil was a place called Ilha Grande. That it means big island. That is not really that big. It's like 24 kilometers wide and blah 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 blah. But it's an island that it doesn't have cars nor motorcycles. It's all people walking and boats. And I spent a week there thinking I was in the Lord of the Rings. Is it butts or tetes in Argentina? I'm afraid I don't understand that question.
Okay, so let's because now he piqued my interest. I'm wondering, are you a breast man or a
Okay. Well, I like everything. I like butts, I like tits. But here we have a great mix of Italian women and Spanish women, which means, big everything. But Italian women have big tits. Usually, Spanish women have better asses. So we have it all, basically. But I think it happens in everywhere. It happens everywhere in the world. It's a myth that Argentinian women are really the most beautiful. It's something we like to say.
For me,
I'm a face guy.
well, that too. Unequivocally, I am an ass man. That's what does it for me is a woman's butt in that spandex.
Is that the sound that it makes when you feel the hole?
Yes, I like making that macaroni and cheese noise, boy.
On that note.
On that note, for me, tomorrow morning, I enjoy Fridays having breakfast with all of my friends on Legion of Comics Community Hangout, where no doubt we will be discussing Moon Knight. We will probably, depending on how much I like it tonight, Doctor Strange. And just who knows? Who knows? We may get to the geopolitical climate again, and I'll have this look on my face.
I mean, you need to get onto the geopolitical climate if we ever going to talk about
Space racism.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, space racism.
It's always right here in my frontal cortex, right there.
So,
yeah, that's it.
I think that's it.
Look for a future episode discussing effed up dads with Mr. Remy Q. And I guess when we start to hear that sound,
bye everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks
chat.
for coming.
Love you guys. Bye.
Fuck, you guys already saw it? Let me see it. Oh! Shit! Oh! Y'all see that?
So, Tyler, do you want to build a snowman to blow away all night? It doesn't have to be a snowman. It can be me.
I'll be clipping that too.